One of the year's most highly anticipated films arrives in theaters this week, Oppenheimer, from acclaimed writer-director Christopher Nolan. It takes us inside the mind of J. Robert Oppenheimer, the father of the atomic bomb, with an intimate look at that first test, where they weren't sure if they were about to destroy the world. Take a look.
30 seconds.
Detonator charge. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, did you think we were going to show you? We're holding our breath for this movie. Christopher Nolan, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I want to talk about the movie. It's incredible. I had the opportunity to see it. You're here because the actors are on strike. The writers are on strike. Yeah. And they had to, just in the middle of your Oppenheimer premiere in London, they walked out. What was that moment like to be ready to show your movie to the world and then this happens?
It was a bittersweet moment. I mean, we were all there. We were very fortunate. We had the opportunity to somewhat, celebrate the film. The actors were all there to support. But then when the time came, they had to down tools and go off in support of all of their fellow actors and in support of the writers as well. It's an important moment in the industry. The business models have been rewritten by the companies we work for, and it's time to rewrite the deals. And hopefully, with everybody unified, that can happen as quickly as possible.
I should mention Comcast, our parent company, is a member of the Producers Alliance. Oppenheimer is a phenomenal movie. I was just saying to you, I don't know that you could have picked a more difficult subject than quantum physics and splitting atoms and the character of J. Robert Oppenheimer. Yeah. What drew you to this?
Well, for me, Oppenheimer's story is the most dramatic story I've ever encountered. It's as simple as that. When I learned the fact that leading up to that Trinity test that we just saw, the moment before, he and his fellow scientists couldn't completely eliminate the possibility that in triggering that, they might destroy the entire world. But they went ahead and they pushed that button anyway. And that, for me, that's the most dramatic situation I've ever heard of.
It raises so many questions, moral questions. I mean, to say nothing of how you visualize the actual, the bomb, the detonating of the bomb, which, by the way, people should know, if you're going to go see it, this isn't CGI. You were very intent on making sure this was as raw an experience as it could be for the audience.
Yeah, I think raw is a good word. We wanted imagery that has beauty but threat to it. Computer graphics tend to be, they can feel a bit anodyne, a bit safe. That's why they're tough to use in horror movies, for example. But challenging my team to use real methods, some of them microscopic and tiny, some of them absolutely vast, that, I think, gives the imagery the bite that it needs.
It's interesting because I know you to be a sort of an analog person. You famously don't have a smartphone. Is that right?
I do not.
I mean, which is just astonishing, and congratulations.
Well, thank you.
But I also read that you, even with the scripts that you wrote, that you wanted to come and bring the script to your actors personally. Yeah. And that in the case of Cillian Murphy, who plays Robert Oppenheimer, you brought it to him in Ireland.
I did,
Did you wait while he read it, or did you give him a moment of privacy? No pressure.
He came to visit me in my hotel in Dublin. I handed him the script, and I went off to look at the wonderful Hugh Lane Gallery. They have Francis Bacon's studio there, which I'd never got the chance to see. Spent a few hours there, came back and he'd finished it, and he looked a little shocked.
And he said yes right away?
He said, I think he'd already said yes before I had him read the script, but he had that sort of relieved and slightly shocked, because I think he was already committed in his own mind, but he seemed to respond very well to the script. But he looked a little challenged. He looked a little afraid in the right way, because you want to challenge the actors you work with.
By the way, all these actors say they would work with you for anything. They're willing to be an extra, cashier number 3 in the convenience store. They'll do it for you. It must feel pretty good at this point in your career to be at that moment.
It is really a privilege to have access to actors at the highest level of their craft. I mean, it's really fun, to be able to make those calls, get those meetings, and try and convince them to do something like Robert Downey Jr. taking on Louis Strauss. That's the kind of acting we haven't seen him do in a long time. He's an incredible movie star, but he's also an incredible actor. And to see him lose himself. You know, some people don't even recognize him in the film, which I think he takes as a great compliment if it takes a few minutes for people to realize which character he's playing.
Yeah, everyone really becomes their character. And I just have to say, I know you want, if people can see it on IMAX, they should. And there's a video on Instagram that I saw. You didn't see it because you don't have a smartphone, so let me just show you. But here you are with the actual IMAX film. So how long is, you said it's like 3 miles long or something?
11 miles.
11
miles long, 600 pounds. It's a big beast.
Christopher Nolan, thank you so much. And you can catch Oppenheimer from our sister company, Universal, in theaters this Friday.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on our streaming channel, Today All Day. To watch, head to today.com/allday or click the link right here.